kind of the largest challenge for a lot of the working families. When families are paying 50%, 60% of their income towards rent, leaves very little for other necessities in life. So we really want to appreciate and recognize your hard work here at the city, your staff, council, leaders, and the people of Westminster for the courage to be able to address this critical issue of affordable housing. And recognizing this, we want to highlight a few things about great development that can be mentioned along with the affordable housing clearinghouse and also the Orange County Community Housing Corporation. On an annual basis, we see developments in the county that represent the critical needs that are being met in the community. So when we were evaluating this year developments, Westminster Crossing stood out among a lot of applicants. And the main thing that I want to highlight about that is there is a critical component of 65 units that are addressing community needs for large families. Among those, there's also 20 units that are representing needs for communities that are struggling beyond just regular housing, supported housing, and services. So that sort of really stood out was that this developer, the city, thoughtfully thought about a project and development, not about a development that would address community needs in a mixed-use kind of environment, but also mixed use of other opportunities. And that's incredible because they thought about that, and they were able to also fund the services as part of that. The other critical component that stood out in our discussion was the intentionality of the city staff and the developer in looking at this development in the city, engaging local high school to make sure that the history of Westminster was ingrained into this development. And it was also highlighted as it was shown in the murals today. So on behalf of the Kennedy Commission, the Affordable Housing Clearinghouse, and the Orange County Community Housing Corporation, we want to make sure that we give you this award, recognizing that the Westminster Crossing development was awarded a Large Family Development Award. And we appreciate all your hard work as a city, from staff, to residents, to elected officials, for all the hard work you put into this development. We hope that this continues to be one of many other developments that come in the city as affordable housing continues to be a critical need of our community. But housing people here, keeping people here, making sure they have an opportunity to thrive in their city. So thank you for that.
On behalf of the Westminster City Council, I'd like to extend our appreciation to this beautiful award. I want to thank all members of the City Council, Council staff, and other council agencies for working together. I believe that the last 7 years of city we've been coordinated and partner with other agencies to do of the field of the housing project to respond to high housing demand. We appreciate this support. Thank you. All right, so next we have Board of Communication.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the time of the meeting that members of the public may address the City Council regarding any item on the agenda or not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Any person wishing to address the City Council should complete a green form, and we have a few of them, and we also have a few, we had an advanced speaker, and at this time, I'd like to call Terry Riggs.
Hello? Now it is. Okay. Gonna start over. Good evening, Carrie Range, Westminster. I'm in the Citizens Academy with my great police department at the range tonight, so I'll have to speak and run again. This is probably a first for me, but I didn't have time to review the agenda packet as closely as I usually do. I hear a heavy sigh of relief from staff right about now. But I sent enough emails about the last agenda packet pointing out errors that should tide them over. Lately, I am not getting responses to some of my emails, but oftentimes I do see changes made based on them. A simple acknowledgement and or a thank you would go a long way in showing members of the public that we are heard. I attended the Westminster School District's 150th anniversary celebration on September 29th. It made me really proud of our school district and our city's history and heritage. It is also always an honor to meet and mingle with Sylvia Mendez, who was the rock star that day. Long before Westminster was incorporated as a city 65 years ago, it was a thriving colony, one of the earliest in Orange County, and seeing so many images on display there celebrating our rich history was a real treat. Most on this council seem to think Westminster was nothing until 1975, so hopefully this event reminded you that is not the case. On Monday, I attended the community meeting about the Navigation Center project. It is exciting to see this finally happening, and I give a lot of credit to our city manager, Christine Gordon, for getting this going. Since the last council meeting, I have attended several candidate events. The meet and greet at Bolsa Chica Park on Saturday was great and allowed voters to meet and mingle with the candidates. Councilman Nguyen and District 4 candidate Nam Quan Nguyen were apparently out of town at the same event, so they didn't show up. An online video showed a car ramming hard into Nam Quan's car while he was away. And the Orange County Firefighters Association pulled their endorsement of Nam Quan. So hell no to Nam Quan Nguyen for District 4 and yes to Terry Nguyen. Amy West confirmed she would attend the event just days before, but then she didn't bother to show up. Her empty table and name card spoke volumes about her character. After all, this event was in District 1, hosted by District 1 voters where she's running. So hell no to Amy West, vote for John Gentile. Voters approached Tydo's table to confront him about his refusal to vote to allow us to vote on Measure Y and about him campaigning against the measure. Apparently his answers, or should I say non-answers, only further upset those voters. The consensus was his vengeance to take down Tree and Charlie is more important to him than the 91,000 residents he hopes to represent as mayor. Worse, he blasted out a campaign video ad that stated the Hispanic population in our city is only 8%, when in fact it is 25%. And he did so smack dab in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month. He also grossly overstated the Caucasian population. Not a good way to convey that you will represent all residents if you don't even know who those residents are. The Hispanic and Caucasian voters are who helped get him elected as the top vote getter in 2018. And it makes us former Doe supporters really sad to see this downfall. His attack dogs continue to go after anyone who no longer supports him with their hateful, racist allegations and worse. And Tyson's happy with that. It is, and he's smiling right now, it is as if he has become the very thing he despised about others on this council. My own personal tipping points were his racist and grossly disrespectful attack on one of our American Vietnam War veterans who constantly picking fights with Councilman Nguyen, and his downright ignorant position on Measure Y. Many voters are echoing the same sentiment. I am doing my best to educate voters about Measure Y, including Vietnamese-speaking voters. When I appeared on Bolsa TV, it was great until they decided to put the communist Vietnam Star flag next to my image and the South Vietnam's three-stripe flag next to Kimberly Ho's in the same promo, with a sensationalistic headline about how the American woman is angry about communism. Well, you know what? Yes, I am angry about all of you using communism and racism as your political rhetoric, preying on the very real fears of the first-generation refugees who really did suffer at the hands of the communists and risked their lives to come here for your freedom. The election is just 27 days away. There will be a candidate forum hosted by our Chamber of Commerce and the Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce on October 26th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. That's a Wednesday. That's the Marion Warren building. It's also a council meeting day. Horrible time to have a forum in the middle of the week during work hours on a council meeting day and not even televised live, but I believe it will be recorded. I really tried to find someone that I could support for mayor, but I will not be voting for any of the four candidates on the ballot, for not even for what some might consider the lesser of the four evils, because in my opinion, they are all four equally bad. Instead, I plan to vote for the qualified write-in candidate for mayor. The only one sure vote for all of us is yes on Measure Y to save our city. So let's do this, Westminster. Thank you so much. Vote yes online.
The next speaker is Michael Granger.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. A couple quick items. Item number 5.3, I'm urging that you approve this item. The school resource officers provide an exceptional support to the schools here. Garden Grove Police Department has a really great SRO program. Those officers that are at the high schools also take care of the feeder junior high schools that go in there. They get to know the students starting with 6th grade. They go right through the education all the way up into high school with these kids. They're able to stop problems. They get feedback from the students, the teachers. And this really is a program you guys really need to get into, and I wholeheartedly support. And it's not just because you're adding a police officer, not partial to the cops, obviously. But this really is a great program that you need to get involved with. The other item is, again, the Pine Tree Garden is going to be on the agenda for next month. Hopefully, I'm going to have a special guest here with me next month. I'm going to have Sid Goldstein's daughter here. What I would like this council to do is explain to her why it's so important that you want to put this monstrosity over in that small park. There's already a pine tree monument. It's in San Jose. There's no reason to put another gigantic monument in that small park across the street. I also would like you to explain to her why you want to do this. And what, to me, it's kind of a defamation of Sid Goldstein himself. I have a letter that was written by her. Her name is Debbie Goldstein Johnson. She was a school teacher right over here at Westminster School District at Warner Middle School. She was there for years before she retired. Her and her family still live in Westminster. After her father's service, he remained in the city and lived out the rest of his life here. He was active in veterans programs, and he was a wholehearted supporter of any veteran that served, especially those that served in combat. And in this city, we have some World War II veterans, obviously very few left. Korean War veterans, we have Vietnam veterans, both from the US military and the Vietnamese military that live in this city. The Vietnam Memorial over there is perfect for that park, especially where it's at. But to add this other thing over there to take up that much room, there's really no reason for it. Let's find private property, put it on, again, Westminster Memorial Park. I don't know whether they've withdrawn their offer, but I'll have to do that instead of putting it over in a small park like that. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you. The next speaker is Nolan County.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have accepted a request Mayor Kita to withdraw his endorsement for candidate Nam Quan Nguyen, HĐTP did. My undersigned is Nguyen Hong of Westminster District 4, California 92683. I am writing today to inquire about Mayor Kita's support of the unit for candidate Nam Quan Nguyen. Mr. Nam Quan Nguyen serious violates Regulation 4953 of the City of Westminster when he really met Elton General with Captain on November 9, 2020. When appearing in a party with an intimate family atmosphere, not for the press meeting. And for this reason, Mr. Nam Quan Nguyen to resign from Traffic Commissioner of the City of Westminster thereafter. Following on September 29, 2022, it means 2 days ago, the fire station 31 of a Tustin city withdrew its endorsement for Mr. Nam Quan Nguyen after because Mr. Nam Quan Nguyen disabled voters when putting on the campaign website votefornamquan.com was given to the OCFA, it means Orange County Fire
Sir,
Authority.
let me interrupt real briefly. Just in your comments, we have to be careful not to campaign for or against people. If you have criticisms, which it sounds like you do, you're allowed to put your criticisms forward, but just be careful not to campaign for or against someone.
I didn't make a complaint, what they did. Okay, I think, city have to change the policy. You have to change the policy to prescreen candidate. In God, we trust. We don't trust the bad people, sir. You want to show me? Go ahead. I'm waiting.
Please proceed.
Okay, so I don't repeat what he did because you already have on my record, okay? Be a district already have my record. Everybody have that, my record. I have a letter from Bonita. He said that your city and the A district have to take care before going. So I go by step, city first. You have to change the policy here in city, okay? We don't select, the best people. He is a, okay. Sorry. I know with the Mayor Kita, he also the candidate for the position of California State Assembly, sir. You are Republican, I am Republican. Okay. So District 17. So you certainly also need to protect your honor and reputation before the upcoming November 8, 2022. I know your father. We are friends. I support you from the beginning to here. You are president of university in California. Anyway, I think you are very smart. You're smart enough to endorse a person with that conduct and that office, civic morality. So because support the Nam Quan Nguyen, we also expect the vote to consider when choosing you or your opponent. In addition, I also ask the city of Westminster, especially city manager, to cross out the name of a candidate Nam Quan Nguyen from the election result from November 8, 2022. Let disqualify the Nam Quan Nguyen. I do not want to use the name and future step to set up the case of unfortunate donate. Case that Mr. Nam Quan Nguyen is elected in the case he is elected. Then the city of Washington will become my object to be a lawsuit. You want to show me before I do that. Because I am a Washington 43rd voter, I want to raise my voice at a will of the voters. I have the right to protect the district and choose the good person for representative for district residents. In God we trust. Thank you, sir.
Next speaker is Tony Boyd.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I am Tony Boyd, been at City of Westminster for 22 years. I'm concerned about the City of Westminster for growing, and based on the integrity for City of Westminster, I bring it up 3 points: honesty, truthfulness, and efficiency. And I have been working voluntarily for the City of Westminster as a planning commissioner for 2 years, traffic commissioner for 2 years, and recreation commissioner. So I know that city is very important for the growth of our all of the residents who stay here, who been making their family growing here. And I passed the test, Code of Ethics. And I hope that all of you have passed it in the past 2 years and have to adhere to the principle of ethical and moral for the benefits of the community. However, I was very frustrated recently. I saw this one on the city say Kimberly Ho, the only candidate endorsed by police and firefighters. And I had residents who sent letters to City of Westminster Police Department. And we learned that the city officer has replied to us. Police Chief Lenny Darren has replied that the Westminster Police Department does not endorse or back political candidates. So whatever you put here, Kimberly Ho is wrong. You deceive people. I think that you are not deserved to sit at that position if you were elected as the mayor, because you deceive people. And you also deceive the American people, American-speaking people, when you send letter to them, say, re-elect Kimberly Ho, mayor of Westminster. You are not mayor yet. You are not mayor, so you cannot use the word re-elect. You make people misunderstanding and mislead the people. That means you violate the Code of Ethics. That is two things that I really worry that in the future, our city of Westminster has to be clean and efficiency. And Mr. Taido, he has been claiming that our city of Westminster from now on is Ho Chi Minh City. And you make a big mistake, Mr. Taido. And now if you want to run as the mayor, sorry, people will not vote for you. Shame on all of your decision. And you have to apologize to the people on your mistake. So that is the things that I really want to express to the city today. And related to the gentleman who just stand here, I know him. He has some kind of connection to the Vietnamese communists in the past. And he has no right to come here to tell the people what to do, because this is a city of freedom of the people who fight against communists. And you are affiliated with the communists, so you should not come here and criticize people.
Keep it to issues that the council can address. This is not about.
All right, that is what I want to concern, because a lot of people have abused the freedom of speech and freedom of spreading fake news and make people, you have deceived people. So from now on, I hope that all of you will be follow the code of ethics to make our city of Westminster the best for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is via Youth Media.
I might need to. Sorry, I didn't have time to give you the. Sorry. Good evening, everyone, council members, police chief, city staff, and the city manager. Ờ, tôi xin muốn nhắc lại cái vấn đề tôi đã nêu ra từ tuần trước.
I would like to reiterate what I mentioned or brought up last week.
Ờ, lần trước tôi đã lên án ông Chí Tạ khi mà ông ủng hộ và vận động cho Nam Quang, một tên côn đồ vô lại, rất là vô văn hóa, tiếng Việt gọi là mất dạy.
So last time I denounced Mayor Ta for supporting candidate Nam Quang. Nam Quang is a thug. And
Mất dạy vô văn hóa.
in Vietnamese, we would consider him someone who was not raised properly.
Xin lỗi, tôi phải giải thích là tại vì khi mà tôi nói ông là vô văn hóa là vì Nam Quang đã lên YouTube và đã dùng những cái từ ngữ rất là tục tĩu để mà thóa mạ những cụ cao niên người Mỹ gốc Việt.
The reasons I'm saying that, and please allow me to explain or elaborate. I'm saying that because Nam Quang have gone on YouTube and insulted the senior member of our community.
Và đương nhiên nếu mà nói về nhân cách, nói về phẩm chất của con người thì tôi đã chứng minh ông ta là người không thượng tôn pháp luật, đã vi phạm pháp luật, đã bị rất nhiều cái vấn đề đối với tòa án Hoa Kỳ.
And if we talk about his integrity and also his characteristic, I can say and I can prove that he has a lot of run-ins with the law.
Và Hiệp hội lính chữa hỏa chuyên nghiệp Quận Cam đã thu hồi sự ủng hộ và nghiêm cấm Nam Quang sử dụng tên tuổi, uy tín cũng như huy hiệu logo của họ trong lúc vận động để mà mị dân kiếm phiếu của cử tri gốc Việt.
And the Orange County Firefighter Association have withdrew their support as well as prohibiting him from using their name, their logo in his campaign.
Hôm nay tôi kêu gọi thị trưởng Chí Tạ một lần nữa hãy tẩy chay Nam Quang và rút lại sự ủng hộ của ông.
So tonight, once again, I would like to call on Mayor Tar to withdraw your support for Nam Quang.
Endorsement.
Withdraw your endorsement for Nam Quang.
Và tôi hy vọng ông sẽ dừng vận động cho Nam Quang ngay lập tức kể từ sau đêm nay.
And I hope that after tonight you would stop campaigning for Nam Quang.
Ông Charlie Chí Nguyễn, ông đang ứng cử để ra làm thị trưởng của thành phố Westminster.
Now on to Mr. Charlie Chi Nguyen. You are running for the mayorship of the city of Westminster.
Xin lỗi cho tôi nói tiếng Anh tí xíu.
Please
I remember
allow me.
Amy Walsh have mentioned about you being council members and I'm talking to you and you're eating while I'm talking to you. That shows what kind of a person you are. You're not worth, you don't deserve to be our council member. You're still eating, you're still chewing. That's disrespectful. Barbaric. Nhưng ông lại xuất hiện cùng Chí Tạ để lường gạt đồng hương Việt Nam.
So you appear with Mayor Tar to
lường gạt đồng hương Việt Nam.
To commit fraud or to commit fraud on to pull a fast one on the member of the Vietnamese community.
Hai ông đã nói dối khi sử dụng việc nghỉ trên truyền thông Việt để nói láo rằng thành phố Westminster sẽ không bao giờ phá sản.
The two of you have lied when you spoke in Vietnamese and you say that the city of Westminster would never be in bankruptcy.
Ông đã làm nghị viên 4 năm nay, ông luôn nghe lời Chí Tạ.
You have been a city councilman for 4 years and you have always followed or listened to Trita.
Chí Tạ đã ngồi ở hội đồng thành phố Westminster 20 năm nay.
Trita has been on the city council for 20 years.
Thành phố đã bị thua kiện liên miên bao nhiêu năm nay.
And the city have been the subject of numerous litigation throughout the years.
Thành phố đã phải bồi thường hơn 10 triệu đô la vì hội đồng thành phố đã vi phạm quy định sách nhiễu nhân viên.
And the city have to pay out more than $10 million because the city have violated the anti-harassment policy.
Nếu ông cho rằng ông sẽ giúp được thành phố Westminster trở nên tốt đẹp hơn, xin cho biết ông sẽ làm gì khác với trí tạ.
So if you claim that you can make the city better, please tell us what you would do other than what Rita has done.
Ít ra Nam Quan cũng đã chê trách hai ông và Charlie và trí tạ. Tức là ít ra là Nam Quan cũng đã chê trí tạ và Charlie.
Or at least Nam Wang has criticized both you and Rita.
Yes. Vì Nam Quan cho rằng hai ông chẳng làm được gì cho thành phố, chỉ biết cãi nhau.
Because Nam Wang is saying that the two of you have not done anything for the city except
Bickering.
bickering.
Nam Quan và Ngô Kỷ đã thông báo cho đồng hương biết là thành phố sắp phá sản và không đủ cảnh sát để lo cho cư dân.
Nam Wang and Ngô Kỷ told our people that the city was on the verge of bankruptcy and that the city would not have enough police officer for its residents.
Nghị viên Tài Đỗ và Kimberly Hồ tuy chống đối hai ông,
City Council member Tai Do and City Council woman Kimberly Ho,
tuy là chống đối hai ông,
although they are in opposition to the two of you,
nhưng ít ra họ đã vạch ra cho chúng tôi thấy những sai trái của hai ông, đặc biệt là trí tạ.
but at least they show us or they point out things that the two of you have done, or the two of you, the thing that was wrong that the two of you have done, especially with Rita.
Ít ra thì chúng tôi cũng biết rằng là thành phố sẽ có cơ hội để thay đổi.
And at least we could see that the city have an opportunity to make a change.
Dạ vâng, thì tôi lần trước tôi không có thời gian để nói hết với Phó Thị trưởng Carlos Manzo, thì hôm nay tôi xin được tiếp tục.
And so last time I did not have sufficient time to address Vice Mayor Carlos Manzo.
Thưa Phó Thị trưởng, lần trước cuối giờ tôi muốn nói rằng là những cái người to mồm không có đại diện cho chúng ta trong bất cứ cộng đồng nào. Cái nguyên tắc đó nó ứng dụng, nó apply cho tất cả cộng đồng.
And so Vice Mayor, last time before I ran out of time, I was trying to say that people with a loud mouth, they do not represent us. They do not represent anyone in the community.
Tôi không dám nói tất cả những người ủng hộ ông, những cử tri của ông là những người kỳ thị, nhưng mà tôi biết là có một số người rất ít nhưng cũng có một số người tôi có thể gọi là những người kỳ thị.
I do not wish to say that your supporters are racist, but I know that there are some, although very little number, a small, only a few of your supporters, I can say that they are racist.
Và tôi hy vọng ông sẽ đặt quyền lợi của thành phố lên trên tất cả, lên trên quyền lợi của phe bè nhóm, phe đảng cũng như là những cái sắc tộc cộng đồng.
And so I hope that you would place the interest of the city above all, above factions, so that you can serve this city and its community.
Lý do hôm nay tôi nói với ông như vậy thì giống như tôi mới trình bày, tôi không nghĩ rằng bản thân tôi và rất nhiều thành viên trong cộng đồng người Việt không còn thể tiếp tục dung túng cho băng đảng của trí tạ để tiếp tục lũng đoạn thành phố nữa.
So the reason I'm addressing you today, I'm saying all these things because I think that the people in my community no longer support this gang of Rita.
Tôi hy vọng ông sẽ lừa người quyết định, thành ra ông sẽ rất là sáng suốt và công bằng khi mà ủng hộ một cái người nào đó có cơ hội để thay thế cái băng đảng này.
I think you are wise enough that you would support the right candidate to replace these gangs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Và lúc này nếu có quý vị nào muốn phát biểu xin cho chúng tôi biết, quý vị đang ở nhà theo dõi nhà thì quý vị có thể giơ tay lên để cho chúng tôi biết là quý vị muốn phát biểu bằng cách chạm vào cái hình tượng của ông bà hay trên cái màn hình của quý vị. Xin cảm ơn.
Mayor and council members, there is one speaker via Zoom that wishes to speak at this time on the overview. You may begin.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I would like to first say thank you to Councilmember Ho for taking my call earlier this week with regard to an item that has been removed, which was public hearing item 4.1. And along those same lines, I would like to say, Vice Mayor Monzo, I appreciate you more than you know. I appreciate hearing my rants and my raves with the blatant ableism, classism, and racism that was exhibited in that ordinance. It breaks my heart that in a city filled with refugees, immigrants, and beyond, that this city thought that that was acceptable. People are here living, some of them barely surviving. And they set up shop on the sidewalks to put food on the table for their children and keep a roof over their heads. And for some of these staff members here at the city, our city manager, our assistant city manager, our community development director, I would like for you to remember one thing. Your salaries are paid by taxpayers, and those individuals on those sidewalks pay taxes every single day. They pay it through sales tax. They are doing their part, and it must be incredibly nice to sit up there in all of your glory and know that you can put food on the table for your family. You can keep a roof over your kids' heads and your own. You can send your kids to private school. And you can do all of the things and not have to worry whether or not your kids will do without. But these families, these individuals are out there struggling to do what they can. And this city's idea of an ordinance was to make it literally impossible for them to do so. Mark my words, I will be keeping track of every single thing with regard to this item, because I'll be damned if you are going to discriminate, blatantly discriminate against immigrants. I also find it quite ironic that on August 10th, 2022, our WPOA had no problem bringing out a taco vendor to draw in crowds from the public to feed them with food that's based in a rich culture. Also that people would come and speak at a council meeting so that they could keep their funding. The city